to look pretty. Oh, just caught me singing
Belt
there.
it, Anthony Carlo. Belt it.
Belting it out. I gotta sing sometimes, and especially when it's a song I like, and that was the situation right there.
Well, I'll tell you who's singing. Both the men's and women's basketball teams.
Here we go.
Are singing.
Beautiful. You see,
Beautiful segue.
That's for his reel one day when he's trying to show how great he's gonna be on a radio show.
And then I boast about it right after, so it ruins the cut. That's exactly what I need to do. That was really smart of me.
Oh my gosh. Well, yes, the Iona College men's and women's basketball teams have been really on a roll, and as much as I'd like to say the women's team has been on a roll, I think we really have to pay attention to what the men's team has been doing.
I completely agree with you. The men's team coming off a huge road trip in Buffalo, and they were able to sweep the trip with a 90-89 win in incredible comeback fashion against Niagara.
Yes.
And then to, frankly, control the second half against Canisius, going in down by 7 at halftime, but then able to come back and win by 10, 101-91. Big wins for Tim Kluse's squad.
Huge
And
wins.
you know what? David Lowry, whatever funk he was in, he's out of it.
He's out of it,
And
absolutely. 4 consecutive 20-point performances, including his career high of 27 points. I think that was against Canisius. Or Niagara. That was against
Niagara.
Yes, 27 points for David Lowry. And I have to make an argument for David Lowry. Well, obviously, he's definitely out of his funk. You're right with that one. But I will say that A.J. English can give him an argument on who has been really running the floor.
Yes, A.J. English, 32 points against Canisius. He is going to replace Sean Armand as the focal point of the offense next year.
Oh, he will be. He's setting the table well for himself.
No, he is. Listen, 10 of 17 shooting against Canisius. He also had 6 assists. That's fantastic.
And he had a bunch of rebounds.
And he also had 5 rebounds as well.
Don't forget. Go ahead, continue.
Well, I'm sure you're going to say this. Sean Armand had 9 assists against Canisius.
I wasn't going to say that, so good thing I let you continue.
Sean Armand had 9 assists, only 10 points, but he was dishing it out to other players.
And that's so indicative of a good player. When you're not scoring, you're assisting the scorer.
Mm-hmm.
And Sean Armand definitely, was a catalyst, I'd say, in that game. And I want to mention with A.J. English, you have to remember against Niagara, he had a huge three-pointer.
He did.
In clutch fashion. I believe there was
7.9
seconds left on the clock. And A.J. English has not only been lighting it up, but he's been clutch.
Yep.
So what more can Tim Kluse ask for?
No, and listen, he's playing significant. He's playing over 35 minutes a game.
Yes.
And he's doing it staying out of foul trouble. And listen, he's making a contender to be a part of an all-MAC team, whether it be first, second, or third.
Yes.
He's making an argument, and David Lowry with this late push is making an argument as well.
Huge game in Manhattan. It kicked it off.
Oh,
the
yes.
game against Manhattan. David
That was
Lowry,
confidence.
Man, he was blocking. Oh man, everything you ever wanted David Lowry to do, he was doing it.
That was the
game.
David Lowry everyone was expecting from the start of the year.
Yes.
It just took him getting sat on the bench
Yes.
just to spark plug him. As crazy as that sounds.
And can I mention something about David Lowry's game that has really been, I feel, a huge part of him getting out of whatever he was in, and that's his making of free throws.
It's true.
In the last 2 games, he made some clutch free throws. Let me try and pull up.
He was 10 of 12. I'm already ahead of you. 10 of 12 against Niagara, and then against Canisius in the latest win, he was 10 of 12 again.
Now, Lowry's making of his free throws.
Excuse me, 9 of 11 against Canisius. My bad.
Okay. Now, the 16-3 run that ended the game for Niagara when the Gales came back with AJ's 7-second three-pointer with 7 seconds left, David Lowry began that run with a couple of completed free throws.
Yep.
So I feel like his free throws are not only happening, but they're coming in huge situations. And I believe he hit some in the he had a very high percentage of free throws in the Canisius game as well.
Yeah, he went 9 for 11.
Oh right, you brought I'm sorry.
9 for
You
11.
just said that. I'm behind. But so Lowry's been really on, and I think we should not fail to mention Deshaun Gomez's actions in the Canisius game and how big off the bench the Gales are getting. Did he start that game? No,
Deshaun Gomez did not start. No.
So off the bench, look at the firepower Tim Kluse has to look forward to.
He only played 12 minutes. He only
had
played
8. How many points? 8 points, I think.
He had 8 points. He played 10 minutes of those 12 in the second half in the big moments. He went 5 of 6 from the free throw line. I think that's him knowing he was on the team last year. And I think that's experience that's coming to show up. He's prepared to play whenever he goes out on the floor. I think something to take note of is that Mike Poole played only 7 minutes against Canisius.
Right.
Regardless, he was having a couple great games. He had a great game against Manhattan, not a good game against Canisius, but Iona was still able to pull out the win.
Right.
And listen, Manhattan, talk about Iona had a great 2-game stretch. Canisius had a terrible 2-game stretch, losing at home to Manhattan and then
yes.
to Iona.
Yes.
They were atop the MAC, and now they're down in third place.
Led by Billy Barron. I mean,
listen, Billy Barron had 24 points against Iona, but
yes.
he didn't affect the flow of the game like he did at the Heinz Center when
Right.
he was the focal point everywhere.
All Billy Barron that game, I just, I just lost my train of thought. Oh, the Gales wanted revenge, I think.
Oh, yes.
They wanted revenge, and I think that was a big focal point of, going up to Canisius at a time when they're in now not their own home atmosphere, and it was a big win to come out of there against a team led by Billy Barron with the victory. And as you said, Canisius really a tough stretch of past 2 games. How about Manhattan, though, going from first place in the MAC for a while and then being dropped off now to third?
Well, that's the thing. I think George Beeman's kind of fallen off the mark for them a little bit. He's their best scorer, and he didn't do much against Iona, and I think he's been faltering a little bit of late. They had a big win against Niagara. Rommel Brown blocked the final Purple Eagle shot that could have won the game.
Right,
Niagara was
right.
with them all game long. They led with under 4 minutes to go. Manhattan came back, and then their defense, which is what they're known for, Rommel Brown blocked a shot
Right.
to seal the win.
Rommel was somebody the Gales were slowing down after that. He had some points.
Mm-hmm.
I remember in their matchup, Brown I think maybe had 11 or 14 points right off the bat, and then after that they just froze him.
Yeah. As of right now, Iona is atop the MAC, 12-2 record.
Yes.
Manhattan is second at 10-4. Canisius tied for second, but currently sitting below Manhattan overall. They're in third place at 10-4. And then you can't forget about Quinnipiac. They gave Iona a hard time at their place in Connecticut.
Right.
I believe they also beat Manhattan as well, and they're sitting at 9-4. So they're dangerous teams. Those are the top 4 teams that are going to compete for the title.
What goes on now for the? Do you feel like Iona will hold this position of first place in the remainder of the season? They have St. Peter's and Monmouth up next.
They have St. Peter's and Monmouth at home, which I think
wins. I think they're wins.
I think they're wins, but then they go to Ryder. And I will tell you right now, playing in Lawrenceville, New Jersey is a hard place to play. The women's basketball team found out when they lost 92-90 in overtime last Thursday.
Right.
That place can rock.
Right.
And
yeah.
they rock for a women's game, and for a men's game, it can go more so than that.
Ryder defeated a women's team who was 17-0 at the time.
They had an 18-game winning streak.
18
game winning streak.
Yes.
But then we're going back to the men's team. They go to Marist, which should be a win. Marist is not very strong.
No, that should be a win.
Marist is only 6-7 in conference. But then they go to Dratty Gymnasium.
And that is it's just as you said that, I got excited inside.
That will be the tone setter for the entire MAC tournament. Will be that second to last game,
ESPN2 game,
February 28th at Dratty Gymnasium,
nationally televised, ESPN2, and that is possibly, I will say, the epitome of the season.
That game is going to get coverage around the entire New York area. And listen, if you've never been to a game at Manhattan, I hate that school. I will tell you right now.
But it gets crazy.
But that fan base is phenomenal.
I know. They have a great fan base.
Their band, too, great.
Yeah.
They have the best band in the MAC as well.
And they are going to be on Iona that day.
Yes.
Like crazy. Because we gave them a nice crowd when they came here.
Yes,
we gave them an intense atmosphere.
Again, the second to best crowd I've seen since me being here 4 years at Iona. Last year, the game at Manhattan went into overtime. Momo Jones fouled out, and it was tough for that. And the Gales couldn't pull that one out.
Yes.
So listen, that game is going to be huge. Listen, I wouldn't be surprised to see Iona lose to Ryder and Manhattan. Can they win those games? Yes, but they are going to be tough.
I say I don't disagree with you at all, but I do say this: if they beat Ryder, of course, but if they beat Manhattan in that final regular season matchup, I think they put obviously they put the nail in the coffin. I think in general. I feel like I think that they put I say they put the nail in the coffin 3/4 of the way in.
Listen, I'm not going to say that because Iona won the tournament last year as the 4 seed. And Niagara was the 1 seed, and we beat them. And listen, you can finish atop the MAC, but among those top 4 teams, anyone can beat anyone.
That's true. But Iona's had their cold streak.
Yes,
they've had it.
Yes,
now they're hot.
Yeah, Iona went through their rut. They went through their rut when they didn't play well, and we all got nervous. But this team now has found their click, and it's crazy that the click is when David Lowery comes from off the bench. But,
it is true, yeah. Tim Kluse went. That you think that'll be one of the main reasons that writers and media coverage will look at when they say Iona made such a credible comeback midway through the season was Kluse went with the smaller lineup and played Lowry off the bench.
I think it has to be recognized that Kluse took a risk in not having a single big man on the floor.
And he looks like a genius now.
But when that's the type of play when that's the type of style that you play, that fast gun play with the under 12 shot clock, essentially.
Right.
When that's the style you play, you gotta embrace it.
Such a high octane offense. I love that word.
Have you ever watched a men's practice?
I've seen them, yes.
Yes, and when they scrimmage with like 10 seconds on the shot clock sometimes, 15 seconds on the shot clock, they have to get a shot up and then they run up and down the floor.
They train themselves to be that because, as you said a while ago, they accepted that. We can't play defense, so let's just beat everybody offensively.
And listen, they're doing it. And also, they've led the country in scoring the past 2 years. They are creeping up there again. They are number 4 now, averaging over 84 points a game. They're getting back up to the way they like to play that high scoring, run and gun, high octane, as you said, offense. They're getting back to that.
Yes.
And it's scary. It's coming at the right time. You just hope that the mojo that they have now can continue throughout the rest of the season, and you hope it doesn't get killed with a loss to Rider or to Manhattan.
I have to be honest with you. If I'm giving you my honest opinion as somebody who follows sports here, I'm going to say that Iona, through up until Manhattan, I will say up until their previous meeting with Manhattan where they defeated them here at the Heinz Athletic Center, had a type of season that I felt they were not going to be good enough to contend for another MAC championship. So I felt like they've had their questionable part of the season. And I felt like it was a long stretch of being questionable. And I feel like that ended with their win against Manhattan. And I will say that this run they're on now, it would be too short-lived for it to end at Manhattan or Rider, or I think it's going to go into the playoffs and carry this team.
I can see it happening. I'm not as optimistic as you, but I can see them winning it. I can see them getting to a third straight NCAA tournament, which for Coach Kluse to do it 3 straight years at a mid-major deserves national praise for, along with his entire coaching staff. I could see it happen. It's going to be a tough road.
It will be tough.
The MAC is crazy. Anyone can beat anyone.
And there's one thing that I am going to have to be shown, and I have yet to see it yet, and the fact that they're on this hot streak now and they're playing well. They have everything clicking. Lowry off the bench. They're really playing well as a team. They're getting production from everybody. I think it's safe to say whoever Tim Kluse goes to. I mean, Deshaun Gomez is a perfect example recently.
Yes.
But I have to be shown that this team knows how to win on a long-term basis. In other words, they don't just go. They're not a streaky team. I need to be shown that in order for me to say that they're going to win the MAC championship. I have to be shown that they can close out the regular season on a hot note. If they go on another streak, I really don't see high hopes for another MAC championship.
Listen, and again, anyone can. Again, I think it comes down to Iona, Manhattan, Quinnipiac, and Canisius in my mind. Those are the teams that can win the MAC championship. Those are the teams I could see winning it. Any other team besides that, I'll be shocked. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. But can it happen? Yes. I'll just personally be amazed.
I feel another key is going to be the fact that Sean Armand's going to have to really get hot.
Yes.
I feel like he's going to have to really turn it on.
His scoring has gone down, but I think he's embraced it, and I think that 9 assists
exactly.
The 9 assists against Canisius is proof of him embracing it.
Yeah, it's proof of him being a good player, a good all-around player, a player that has more tools than just being able to shoot a 3. Be a team contributor. I think that's also an example of team leading. The fact that you can contribute in that way to a big win by assisting.
That's why he's the captain.
And you're the one who told him he was a lesser passer than Billy Barron. And he kind of showed you up in that game.
I will still say this. I still believe that Billy Barron is the best player in the MAC.
I'm trying to get you in trouble.
Coach Kluse in the pregame interview against Canisius with Gary Stanley said the exact same thing I did. Billy Barron's the best player in the MAC.
Okay, that's fine with me, but I just want to make a case that Sean knows how to pass.
Oh no, I'm not saying it. Sean passes 1,000 times better than me, and better than the majority in the MAC. But I'm still saying he's a better shooter than he is a passer.
No, oh yeah, hands down. But I was just throwing a little dig. What can I say?
I understand your dig, but I just defend my dig.
No,
your dig.
On a real note, I would say that that was just I was very happy with that performance of 9 assists. But yeah, that's what that's what my thoughts are. You have anything to add about the women's team?
Well, I mean, the women's team, you got to look at, it was actually a big game that was not an Iona game, was Fairfield defeated Marist at McCann Arena. And with that, Marist fell to 12-2 in conference, and right now Iona is back atop the conference lead with 13-1.
Wow,
that is absolutely huge for this women's team.
That is crucial
because they came off a heartbreaking loss to Ryder. And listen, Nisha McKenzie, a forward for Ryder, had 37 points, 19 rebounds against us. She was absolutely unstoppable.
Which I would chalk that up to a loss that, sometimes no matter how good you're playing defense, you can't deal with a player.
Listen, I can tell you right now, Coach Billy Gotzi was not happy with the defensive effort against Ryder. She was not happy at all with the defensive effort against Manhattan. You did that game with me.
I did. Well, yeah, that's why I can't comment on Ryder as much, but I can talk about Manhattan.
And you heard Coach Billy Gotzi's interview, the post game against
upset.
Manhattan. It was one sentence answers, and then I was like, okay, you can leave now. Thank you. Good luck on the congratulations on the win. It was 2 questions in and out.
Veteran broadcaster move right there.
She was not happy, and I understand why.
You got to credit to her because you got to credit her for not being happy because there's no way a team that is as good as the women's team is going to get even better unless she shows them with a win. Sometimes a win's not good enough.
No, exactly. And listen, they have a winnable game. They're playing Monmouth on Friday, the doubleheader here, but then Sunday is the rematch against Ryder here at the Heinz Center. And listen, if the girls come out flat that game, I don't know what else to say because they've had the tendency to come out flat and start games.
You mentioned that. That's one downfall.
That is a downfall for this team, and it happened a little bit against Manhattan.
I saw it against Manhattan.
It happened against Ryder. We were down 8-0 before we scored a point.
Right.
This team has to come out strong, and if they don't come out strong this Sunday against Manhattan, assuming they get a win against Monmouth, which they should win,
right,
then this team is in deep trouble moving forward. Because their final 2 games of the season, at Quinnipiac, then home against Marist on Senior Day.
Right.
There's almost no tougher way to end the season than those 2 games.
There's no, but I'll tell you one thing. I mean, the correlation I saw between defense and coming out flat was there against Manhattan. I felt like I could see why Coach Gotzi was upset because they gave them the lane every in the beginning of that game. They gave Manhattan the lane. And
Skrek had that give and go working for the first 10 minutes of that game.
Play. Oh my God, they went to that play
over and over
again. And you need to be able to recognize, and adapt. And they didn't do that. And they, like I said, they left there was nobody was contending under the basket at all in those first 10 minutes. They would just. I remember watching a play. I don't know who it was, but they basically watched them just put it up, and right there.
That's the thing. Coach Gotzi's saying people aren't getting in spots, and people are putting energy in, but they're not putting the energy in on the defensive end. And now listen, the women's team has a 4-game home stretch. They got Monmouth, Ryder at home, then they got Niagara and Canisius. Those are games that they can win, and they should win without a doubt against Monmouth, Niagara, and Canisius. They are better teams than them. Ryder is going to be tough because Nisha McKenzie ate us up inside, and an Achilles heel of the women's team has been defense in the paint. They've allowed points. They've allowed points in the paint almost more than anyone else in the MAC.
Right.
They've got to straighten this out during this 4-game homestand. They have 5 days of practice. They had today, and they'll go, and then they play on Friday. So they have a full week of practice before the game on Friday to fix whatever was wrong.
Right.
And, I mean, I was talking with Coach Kelly after the game, and she says it's a great thing we have practice.
No,
because we
right.
have a lot of things to work on.
And I'm happy that Coach Gotzi, was angry after that loss because win. I should say win.
She acted like it was a loss, though. She did.
She did. I mean, do you feel that there's going to be anything done to try and prepare them a little bit better to improve defensively in the paint, or you think they're going to continue to go with that rejection of that?
Well, I think that Sabrina Gerador, her presence down low has been a little bit lesser of late. She hasn't been playing as many minutes of late as well because she played a lot of minutes at the beginning of the season, a ton, more than any in her career, and I think it's starting to catch up with her a little bit right now, and I think the coaches realizes that, and they're sitting her for a little bit more to rest her up come tournament time so she'll be fresh.
Right. Her rebounds have not been that high.
She was never that great of a rebounder.
Right, but I feel a drop off a little bit.
She at one point though was averaging 5 blocks a game this year.
The blocks were up,
and it's simply not the case anymore. Again, I think the coaches are secretly are I think they're making a conscious effort though to try and rest her a little bit.
Right.
And also I think we're so much better when Aaliyah Robinson's on the floor offensively.
Yes.
Because we spread the floor out like no other in the MAC.
Yes. And she's
also got the
sh-
prettiest stroke.
She's a shooter.
In the entire conference.
She's a sniper.
Yes,
she's
she
a
is.
sniper.
She hits it from long range. And this women's team, they can improve on points in the paint. They can improve on defense. We know they can score. We know that's not a problem. It's going to be defense. It's the same problem for both the men's and women's team. But they can both score. Can they both play defense? That's going to be the big question moving forward. And be sure to come to the Heinz Center on Valentine's Day. Bring your date if you have one. Women's game's at 4:30. Men's game is at 7. It's going to be a doubleheader against Monmouth. It should be both wins. But again, the MAC, you never know, and it should be incredibly competitive.
I agree with you, John, and I think that's going to wrap up today's Opposites Attract. I greatly thank everybody for listening to us, and just know that you can tune into us every Monday at 7:30 here. We're in the basement of La Penta, WICR. You can go log on or sign into Ustream and search us. I don't even think you have to have an account. You could just search us.
You can just search us, or go to jstanko.99.wordpress.com. In the next couple of days, these videos, these segments will be on my blog as well to tune in and watch, and on my YouTube channel, jstanko99. Just search the channel on YouTube and it'll be there.
There we go. So WICR on Ustream. Thank you everybody for listening. We will see you next week. Have a great week. Enjoy the NBA All-Star festivities this weekend. And thank you, John. And I think we're
Anthony.
Bid farewell. Good night, everybody.
It's your lucky day to be baptized in the Greek Orthodox Church.
Hi, I'm Nia Vardalis, and you're listening to WICR